This is Daniel Poppy, host of How to Write Good. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Liz Colburn, host of The Morning Uplift here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you are done with this episode, I hope you'll come back and check out my show, The Morning Uplift, where we talk about finding your beauty in the journey. A new show comes out twice a month on the first and third Mondays. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of The Morning Uplift. Thank you again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
What is up, everybody? It's Julianne Condia, your host of Rewritten. After this episode, if you could please screenshot it and tag me on Instagram, I would love that. And more than anything, I would just love how you're applying this to your life. Just so you know, we have an online community that is starting to build, and I would love for you to be a part of it. Just ask me how, and I'll get you in. If you go to Facebook and you type in the search key, the Rewritten Society, that is our Facebook group that is starting, and I would love for you to be there. Before we get started for today's episode, I just want to read you something that spoke to my soul, and I thought it would speak to yours. It's from Love Lives Here by Maria Goff. Do what makes you the most loving, hopeful version of yourself. Jesus is more interested in who we're becoming than who we were. Value what you're good at, and you'll understand more about yourself. Find your worth, and you'll find your release from comparison. Wanting to be a better version of you is worthwhile. I need to read that again, friend. Wanting to be a better version of you is worthwhile. We don't need a plan to be us, and we don't need permission either. We just need to begin. We learn self-acceptance when we've experienced total acceptance. We learn self-acceptance when we've experienced total acceptance. Go find someone or something that will love you back with no strings attached, and you'll stop comparing yourself to everyone else. Wow. God stretches each of our lives before us like a canvas. He hands us the brushes and the paint and asks us to make our lives look like our unique version of his love. Pick your own colors, not somebody else's. He only creates originals, not copies, and expects no less from us. Sometimes it's hard to accept that we're enough, right where we are. However, it doesn't make the statement any less true. Let's carry this knowledge deep in our souls and start acting confident about God's ability to uniquely craft and release love in our lives as he is. Isn't that just so good? I love that. I love that so much and just needed it. And I thought that you might need it too. We don't need a plan to be us. And we don't need permission either. We just need to begin. Oh, what a sweet reminder. So thank you for listening. If you are a new listener, I cherish you. And if you've been listening for a while, how cool. Thanks for being faithful to this vision and this podcast. And my biggest hope for it is sincerely to just empower you to live out your limitless potential, to get fit in every area of your life, to rewrite your story, no matter your circumstances and no matter where your past was and no matter what fear you might hold. I just really think that you were placed here for a reason and you matter. You being on this earth matters. And even if your impact isn't in bright lights, even if your impact isn't with a big following, you are here for a reason. And whatever that is, I'm just so excited for you to discover it. Life is all about relationships. We were made for that community. And a lot of times we can get so held back in our own head and fear the judgments and the opinions of others and worry about how can we maintain this. We don't know what to do next. Sometimes it just means taking a step, and you stepping and taking that step can change your whole life. I've had some really amazing conversations this week that I needed, and I just need you to know everyone struggles. Everyone gets in funks, and this was so good. My friend Liz, oh, I love her. I cherish her. She is the friend you need. She's a friend that you want in your life. And her and I have challenging conversations a lot. And I think it's good. I think it's good to have those types of conversations because, one, love is worth fighting for. And I love having friendships that challenge me, and we don't all think the same and we all don't live the same. But at the end of the day, we just want to love. We want to be a reflection of love and grace and forgiveness, and we just want to help people. And Liz was telling me, I'd recently texted her that I was struggling, and she's just wonderful and poured so much wisdom into our conversation. And she said, Julianne, I remember when you were packing up to leave Milwaukee and you were about to go on this adventure, and you did it. And I was thinking more about that. When we decided to move across the country, we actually left Milwaukee loving it. She said you could have stayed complacent and you could have stayed comfortable, but you didn't. You chose to go, and that was so hard. And I thought about that. I thought that, yes, the adventure of moving to California was every Midwest girl's dream. California is on that list for everybody, I feel like. But for us, it was more about we have something to do. We feel called there, and we're just going to go. It's so uncertain. We hadn't even checked out our place physically before moving. We just went. And over the last couple of years, this has been the most challenging, most beautiful time of growth in our lives. Living here isn't easy. Living here can create uncertainty, but it has done something for me. And it's so easy to want to leave challenge. It's so easy to want to not show up when life gets hard. And I feel like if we were to show up when life is hard, if we were to embrace it, write it out, feel it, allow it to be in our lives, we would become better because of it. And it is easy to leave when it's hard, but I don't think the growth happens there. And just her conversation sparked something in me, an inspiration, a thought, a reminder of I chose this and I know it's meant to be. And we kept talking, and she said, well, selfishly, I would love for you to come back, but I think you're right where you need to be. And she was asking me why I thought I needed to be there. I've never felt more close to Jesus than now. And I know I have so much more growing to do. And I just feel called here, and I don't know the answers. And she said, I think just that trust in the uncertainty is the growth. That whenever you leave that, if that is the time and if that's the will that needs to happen, you're going to be better because of it. If you find yourself in a challenging time, I know you want it to be over with. I know you want it to be easy, but I can't help but think that wouldn't be the thing that would make you. And I needed that reminder. And my friend Sarah this week reminded me, she said, you've always just taken leaps. You've just done it. You've gone and you've done crazy things. And sometimes that can be intimidating to hear. And you make me feel uncomfortable. And I was in a good way, she said. And I totally got what she was saying. And I was telling Eric, I said, I think sometimes when we're looking out in, it looks so badass, like what we've done. Me quitting my job mid-year. Oh, that was so scary. But now I look back and I just did it. You just do it. You figure it out. I trusted myself. And that was another thing Sarah said. She said, you believe. You believe you can figure it out. And moving across the country, leaving all of our friends, leaving certainty, to come here, and then Eric leaving his job, living in the most expensive area, pursuing a business that lights our soul on fire because it connects us to just wonderful people and wonderful experiences that in 10 years that can look like an overnight success. But sometimes when you're in the grind of it, it doesn't look so beautiful. And when you're in the grind of it, it doesn't seem so heroic. But I have to tell you, I'm made in these moments, and so are you. So friend, whatever it is that you feel, whatever it is that you go through, maybe you're in a season of rest and still. I love that. But maybe you're not. And I can't help but think this is the time where you need to lean in and work on yourself the most. It will produce so much grit. I was telling Sarah, I said, these times are preparing me for what's to come. I know what's to come. I know what I see. I know what our business is going to be like in 6 years. I know my vision for that. And I can't help but think right now is humbling me. I can't help but think right now is teaching me the greatest lessons I can ever know. Because as we continue to hit goals and continue to move forward with our dreams, I don't ever want to take that for granted. I don't ever want to think that that was easy. I want to be able to know that we kept the faith when it was so hard. I want to know that we still showed up when we felt like everything was falling apart. I want to know that we worked on ourselves when we had no idea how we were going to make it work, and we did, because God is good and we don't quit. God is good and we show up. God is good and we fall to our knees in prayer and faithfulness and gratitude, knowing like He is shaping us, He is molding us, and He knows the type of perseverance we have. He knows the people that are going to come into our life. I was telling my friend Liz, it would be so hard to leave right now because we're feeling established. All we craved was community, and now we're getting it. Our church is absolutely phenomenal and growing us and stretching us and really speaking to how we want to live our lives and how we want to live out our faith here. I can't help but think that when we feel uncertain, that those are the moments, then the people that come into our lives that shape us to who exactly we are meant to be. And you're not alone. We all go through this. We all go through periods of like, how am I going to survive that? How am I going to rebound from that? How am I going to make up from that? And if you know that you're not in competition with anybody, and if you just remind yourself that this is part of your unique story, then your perspective changes. Sometimes you want to keep up with the Joneses. Sometimes you think when she gets the success that you crave, that there's not enough for you. And that can't be more off and far from the truth. That your struggle, the times you fall, the moments you don't hit that goal, the moments you relapse from a goal, the moments that are so hard, and you find your fight, you dust yourself off, and you keep on going. It makes you relatable. It makes you current. It makes you faithful. It makes you trusting. And it makes you acknowledge that you can't do this life alone. Oh, friend, you can't. No amount of success will fill you up. No amount of praise will fill you up. No amount of validation will fill you up. And I think that's why so many of us can feel so empty when we're chasing the wrong things. In your struggle of hard, trust and know that's where you're meant to be. It's making you. Because on the other end of it, if I just was successful with no struggle, it wouldn't teach me anything. I hope this spoke to you like it spoke to me. This has been so relevant in my life over the last 2 years of just looking and thinking of all of the things we've survived, all of the moments that were so hard, that broke us, and that really challenged us, and that really humbled us, and really got our attention, knowing what matters. Knowing why we do what we do and that we show up. Eric said the other day, he said, you really love this and it inspires me. We chose this. And you are so inspired by it every day, even though it's not a cakewalk, even though it can be so hard. You show up because you believe so much in what you're doing. And friend, I challenge you to do what sets your soul on fire, that connects you with people, that makes a difference. And maybe when it's hard, you're right where you need to be. Thank you for listening. Please send me how this spoke to you. Talk to me. Let me know. Get into the Rewritten Society group and share your insights and share your takeaways. Share your blogs. Share where you are currently. And I know that can change a life too. Thank you for listening. I appreciate you. You have a good rest of your week.